Let's talk about the ore sorter, because I've watched a video which kind of explained it all to me, and we'll put the link up above here now so people can go to that. Can you tell us the impact? You've been running it for the best part of a month, and it seems to be delivering quite well. Of course, I'm looking at some numbers here. So you fed in 1,266 tons, and you've identified 1,076 tons of waste. So that's significant.
I mean, those numbers aren't really terribly indicative, but I put them in there because we switched it on just over a month ago, and we've been putting through some pretty minuscule tonnages, and we're just playing around with it really to try to sort of find the sweet spot. And we're using different types of ore. Some of the ore is actually sort of more massive sulfide ore. So really, I put those numbers in there to show people, hey, it was a pile of rubbish, basically, sub-economic, very uneconomic material. We passed it through the ore sorter, and we just pulled out 200 tons at like 7 grams, and the rest of it is a big pile of waste. And that just shows what this thing can do. And the video shows it. It's going in, it's crushed material, which is 80% waste rock. And if you look at underground, if you just eyeball that, you can see, well, hello, 80% of that face there is waste, and 20% of it is a band of ore. That's exactly what the ore sorter does. When that thing's all been crushed, it can actually eliminate all that waste and just scavenge out that sort of high-grade band of the sulfides where the gold sits, and that's what it does. So I think we can see straight away it's great at just scavenging out sort of the ore out of the waste. And we won't put our best material through it because it's not an exact science. There's always going to be losses. Like, you will get ore going into the waste system, and you will get waste going to the ore system. But I think the best way of describing it is a waste remover. That's what it is. It's a waste remover, and it's an ore scavenger. So we are only really using it at the moment, and will be only using it until we've got this absolutely nailed. We'll only be using it on our lower grade waste ore development, which is where we're just driving along the vein, and it's the most diluted material. So that's the material all the waste rock in, and it's great for just recovering the ore out of that material and not having to pass all that stuff through the process plant, which up until now has been completely constipating our process plant with this material. So if we get rid of that, first of all, we save ourselves just by getting rid of that material and going from 500 tons a day at 7 grams to 400 tons per day at, say, 9 grams. You're going to save yourself about $1 million a year in costs, which means the payback of this machine is about 18 months. But more importantly, what it'll do will liberate 100 tons a day of free space, which we can then use again to add more high-grade ore, make our little process plant produce, instead of 40,000 ounces, which it can do today, the same plant with the same size, the same throughput, can do 50,000 ounces. That's the beauty.
That's really remarkable. But it doesn't actually identify gold per se, does it? I mean, explain to people what it's actually doing. They can watch it in the video, but I thought it was interesting too.
Very, very important distinction. When you look at that video and you see that yellow shiny stuff, I would be very excited if that was a band of gold. It's not. That is a band of sulfides, mostly chalcopyrite, which is a copper sulfide, and pyrite, which is an iron sulfide. And all of our gold is very fine grained, contained within those sulfides. So our ore sorter has 2 methods of actually differentiating between ore and waste. What you're always after with any type of ore sorting, whether it be diamonds or, as we're doing, gold or whatever, you need contrast between your ore and your waste, sharp contrast. So it won't work terribly well on a disseminated ore body. On an ore body like ours, which is very sharp, it will. So what it's actually doing, you crush it down to about 1/4 of an inch, half an inch, so you can see there, 1 inch to half an inch. Then you pass it through either color sorter or an X-ray sorter. So let's take the color sorter first. In our case, as you see on the video, pink based and the rest is ore. So you can just simply say, right then, I want to collect anything that's not pink. And it will just literally identify any stone that's not pink and throw it off onto the different belt as you saw in the video. And the pink, the granite, will just fall off the edge as waste. Alternatively, you can sort on atomic density, which is where you use the X-ray sorter. So it's a piece of equipment not dissimilar to what we have at airports. You pass through it, and it's actually penetrating every stone on 1 millimeter center. So it's hugely refined, hugely detailed. So, and it's a 3D sample. So every stone gets analysed for a percentage or what its atomic density. And of course, the granite rocks are much less dense than the sulfides and the ore rocks. So that, again, there's a big contrast in density between what is the ore and what is the granite. So again, we can sort on X-ray as well. And if we really want, we can't do it at the same time, but we can. We haven't tried that yet. But what we can do, we can sort once on, say, on density, save the pile, and then you can pass the pile again and sort on color. So the permutations are endless, and we're just at the beginning of this journey, really. But we've just simply by sorting on X-ray, it seems to be brilliantly separating the waste and pulling some more out of the waste. The closing shot of the video, you see that little pile and the big pile. We pulled that little pile out of that big pile, and before it was just lost in that big pile.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. We were talking to a lot of companies about bringing ore sorters in to improve their productivity and throughput. As you say, the savings are or can be immense.